Good morning, America, and good morning, whomever, wherever you are on this big planet. This is Dr. Terry with another very interesting newsletter loaded with interesting pictures. The title of the newsletter and the video is Chicken Soup for the Soul and God Cosmic Pearls. You're going to say to me, what a weird title. Why do you involve this famous book, The Chicken Soup of the Soul? Well, it's because life is a very interesting thing. Like me, you can get a call that will bring you one of your wishes. That's why I always tell you, you lose a friend or a family member, you lose a wish. You know, many weeks ago, I did a radio show with my good friend Jim Carroll, where I predict earthquakes and explosions. I mean, all the information are in the newsletter if you're skeptical. And he told me, hey, Louis, I know somebody that is your neighbor. I said, yeah, and who is that? He says, it's Mark Victor Hansen. You probably heard of his bestseller book. Oh, I said, oh yeah, The Chicken Soup of the Soul. Yeah, I mean, who did not? So he says, hey, I got him on the line. I was kind of surprised. Well, shocking window. Friends, wishes, shocking news. Anyway, so I spoke to him and we discussed a few things. We exchanged telephone number and I said, hey, come and visit me on Sunday. And he did. And I was quite impressed with this guy, pretty tall, and he's a Capricorn. I mean, you're talking about building the mountain of structure and achievement in society, the GOAT, the engineer of the zodiac. And he had this attractive wife. She's very pretty. I mean, you could see the pictures. It's a very attractive woman. And Crystal, and she's a Virgo. Virgo is all about paperwork, office work, details. I mean, those guys are master in marketing their books and their teachings. And that's why they travel the world and speak to millions of people. And that's why they have a bestseller. This is their last book. It's called Ask. Okay. Again, you have the link on my website where you can order this book. And then, of course, we also discuss my book, Beyond the Secret. So there is all sorts of philosophy and information involving our repertoire of wisdom, which is crystallized into the forms of our two books. So we discuss everything about the stars, about politics, COVID-19. I mean, I only had 90 minutes to deal with them because I had, I'm swamped. I have like 200 readings to do ahead of me. So I'm booked for a long time. So I kept my eye on the clock as we were talking and exchanging ideas. I mean, there is much more detail in this meeting that I am offering you, including interesting pictures, the three of us in my house. And all I can tell you is that, again, the newsletter will give you those informations, but it was a very, very rewarding reading, a very rewarding meeting. As I read them, of course, I showed them a little bit of what it means to be cosmic conscious and to use divine astrology. And I'm sure they were satisfied with my information. And they're very decent people, very classy people, achieved people. And of course, Crystal asked me at the end before my meeting, I said, don't rush you out, but I have a meeting very soon. So she said, hey, Dr. Terry, how much do I owe you? You don't owe me anything. We just had a friendly meeting, but it was a gesture that talks about the essence of the soul of a person. who wanted to reward me, somebody who was really happy with the type of information I gave her. And they gave me phenomenal tips, don't get me wrong, as far as marketing. But, you know, I'm not a Capricorn. I'm not a Virgo. I'm not an earthy sign. I'm a Pisces. I'm a dreamy Pisces, which means the chance of this guy to become a bestseller is zero. Only those who ask will get my book. And that is all my students, all my clients, and all the people that are refined, spiritual, advanced enough to realize the gift that I have in translating God cosmic design and offering the information on a rational way to the most mysterious, subtle area of the human experience, which is a superconscious. So, you know, it's funny because ask and you shall receive. That's a very famous phrase that we find in the Bible. But it's important to realize that your subconscious does not know the difference between the wishes or the fear. Okay? The subconscious is a very mysterious, subtle, intangible area. As I said earlier, that's where God resides. That's where he gets your heart beating, he stops an infection, he knows everything about you since forever. That is such an incredible power. And as I told you so many times, you're so much more than a human being made of flesh, bone, blood, and nerves. You have an incredible power. Remember, you were made in the image of God. You like it or not, you know it or not, my friend, you have the same exact creative forces than your creator that is buried in that subconscious. And this is through ask, on their own way, through their own wisdom, through their own experiences, through their own intellectual faculties and intuitive values that Mark and crystals are passing on, their own pearls of wisdom. I'm doing it my way. That's how it is. So if you read Ask, and if you read Beyond the Secret, you'll get answers on both areas. But at the end, there is all the roads leads to Rome. No one has the ultimate keys of what it means to be human. We all have a part of the puzzle. And that's what this meeting was all about. And it was very, very constructive as far as I am concerned. And I'm sure it was the same for my new friends who live next door in Scottsdale. So, in reference to the subconscious, you know, when I was young, I always wanted to have a Corvette. I got a Corvette. And I was proudly and happily parking it in front of my regular bar when I was single. And when I came out, I saw cigarette butts lighting on my leather seat. It was so comfortable. And I had people who spit on my windshield. Now you tell me, my good friend, how can you attract those blessings if you spit on them? Remember, magnet will attract a piece of wood. You have to be positive. For those who have more than you have, wish them even more, because what you're doing, you're wishing it to yourself this way. But if you're negative and you feed the reptilians and you're greedy and you're self-concerned and you are only dedicated to your own business and you don't want to do nothing for others or help in any way, shape, or form, that's not good karma. Remember, you throw something up, it's going to come down. And no one can escape karma. If you consciously or subconsciously participated in any way, shape, or form in producing a disaster that affect or kill human being, you will not escape your karma. And you can see already through the news that many people who have participated in the negative force induced by the reptilians are already paying the price with their position or being sued. That is an easy way out. But there is also sickness, bad luck, disease. Believe me, karma is very real and you have to be very careful of what you do and what you say. because it has weight. The power that you inherited is formidable. Yet 99.9% of the people that I know or watching my videos, reading my newsletters are totally cosmic and conscious. And that's why you have books like Asks and Beyond the Secrets out there. You know, another thing, during my wild days, when I was a kid, I made my life terrible for my family. I was very handful. What do you expect? Aries head, competitive, aggressive, impatient. Moon and Gemini, air and fire. Here goes Dr. Cherry, ADD, ADHD, God knows what. And when you read my book, Beyond the Power, you're going to see what I went through. The hell that I went through, because my teachers, those educated idiots, had no clue of my unique celestial identity. They did not know that I was supercharged mentally and physically, and I could not stay sitting more than 1 minute. I had to get rid of that energy. And they used to put me under their desk. And then after a while, when I wanted to get the blood going through my legs or my arms, I had to move. And then, this guy just kicked me as hard as he could, asking me to stay still, hurting the hell out of me. You know, it was also saying me, Dr. Louis, I thought, Louis, he used to come on the stadium here, and in front of the entire class of 30, 40 kids, he used to say, you see, class, Louis will never speak English. Louis will never do anything in his house, in his life, because he is not educated. He will not learn. He will do nothing. That's why his teacher is sending him here in that English class to copy the French dictionary, because he doesn't listen to his teacher. That is incredible. And I was going already behind his head, and I was going like this, because nobody could break my will. And I knew better for my inside, for my intuitive nature, that I will beat all odds. That I knew it since the get-go. And I saw this guy many, many years later. And I was with my mother, God bless her soul. She's now gone. Rest in peace, Mama. And I said to him, hey, Mr. Clapp, do you remember me? This is Louis. You told me I would never speak English. Of course, I was speaking English to him, hoping or thinking, because he was an English teacher, okay, who had me when I was a bad boy, he could hear me. And he was going, mais qu'est-ce que vous dites, monsieur? Mais je ne vous comprends pas. Mais qui êtes-vous? He was telling me that he couldn't understand me. He was supposed to be the English teacher. That tells you. And then my mom says, Louis, forget it. And I said, you're right, Mom. You're right. Okay. As I told you, I never, ever took a lesson in English. I learned in the tubes when I was homeless in London, on my little book here. What does it mean? Dog food. That's all I could afford. What does it mean? That's how I learned English. And I never, ever learned how to type. Yet I can type faster than what you can read. This is called gift in communication. Challenging the dogma, challenging accepted discipline, challenging the educated idiot who actually believe that astrology is a pseudoscience and UFO don't exist. That tells the world that you're in. When I was in England, I started working in a 5-star hotel. I was cleaning floors, sleeping with cockroaches and rats. Huge 5-star hotel, huge labyrinth. And that's where I was living. Little did I know that a year later, I was going to be the general manager in the saloon bar. How the hell, from cleaning floor, I end up right at the top in the saloon bar, which was the most famous bar in this 5-star hotel. Oh, you want to know? I'm not going to tell you. It's all here. Let me tell you something else, the power of your subconscious. When my parents used to fight, all the time when I was a kid. I used to say to them, is there any way you guys could talk instead of screaming? I was only like 13, 14 years old. Of course, they never stopped. It's just life, arguments all the time, part of being a human being. And next thing you know, I find myself in a hospital receiving 5,000, 8,000 units of penicillin in my little butt, trying to stop the infection that I had in both of my ears. Nobody knew why or how. And then the next thing you know, a week and a half later, also my mom came and visit me, and then the doctor gave her the diagnostic. He's got serious infection in his ears that is slowly going to go to his brain. And he does not respond to any of our medication. So the prognostic is he's going to get blind, he's going to go crazy, and he's going to die, brain dead. So might as well take it home. So she took me home. But same story is, I have 8 brothers and sisters, being half French and half Italian, Sicilian. My mom didn't want me to die with them. So she took me to her mother, Grandma. God bless her soul. What a beautiful woman she was. She was watching the moon very closely, I remember. And then all I could see every day was, or hear, was the chicken, the goats, the winds, the river. And Grandma never raises a voice. The day after, the morning after, I woke up. Gone. What happened? What happened is on the depth of my superconscious internal space, where the power resides, where magic resides. I was making a wish not to hear my parents screaming. So God heard me. Remember, God does not rationalize. He doesn't know what's right, what's wrong. Create an earthquake and kills baby. He does not know, doesn't think. And from the superconscious in time and space, you can alter the atomic structure of your body or your ears. In other words, you could be your worst enemy, not knowing this power. I was making a wish not to hear my parents, and God said, okay, how am I going to help you? But I'm going to make you deaf. And how can you be deaf? Well, I'm going to start to give you infection out of the blue that nothing is going to stop until you're deaf. Yeah. And it's because so many of those experiences that are all crystallized, it's printed in this 500-page book, and you can see the font very, very small, okay? That you will realize the power you were born with and how to use that power in a way that it brings us your wishes. There are rules, very specific rules that you must understand. Because you don't see the other side of my hand doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The laws of man are very clear. The IRS, the DMV, stop line in the street, stop sign in the street, the Bible, all that man has created. The other side of my hand represented another world loaded with power that you must investigate if you're curious enough and if you're ready enough for a new teacher that will challenge you outside of what you've accepted as solid discipline, whether it be scientific or religious. That's where Dr. Julie comes from. This book is loaded with information as the one that I just told you about my ears. Let me give you another one. Plenty in the book. This lady came to me one day and she says, oh, Dr. Julie, I need you to hypnotize me. I said, okay, why? She says, because, it's been bothering me for a long, long time. I don't understand why. I read your work from my subconscious. My jaw was locked. I couldn't open my mouth. For weeks at a time, I had to eat with a straw. Nobody could understand me. Nobody could fix me. My jaw was locked. It just happened overnight. So I said to her, you know what? I don't need to hypnotize you. I know what happened to you. She said, what do you think happened to me? And I said, were you doing a diet or were you overweight? She says, yes, actually, that was my biggest wish, was to lose weight. Right there, right there, lose weight. She managed to bypass the filter of the subconscious and enter the superconscious again, where the power resides. And then she was hurt by the force of God, whatever you want to call it. And they, okay, how am I going to help you to lose weight? Well, you only have two holes, this one and the other one, right? So I'm going to lock this one. So this way, you're going to be forced not to eat and lose weight. Believe me, you can have a 150-pound woman lifting a car if a toddler by accident ran under it. This is not a joke. This is real. But to tap on this incredible power, you need to educate yourself. You need to be knowledgeable. You need to be curious. And that's what Ask and Beyond the Secrets is offering you. Now, if you look at my last SOS to the World Deadly Window, famous people dying, Rush Limbaugh, a few other people well-known died. There is no accident. There is only circumstances, cosmic circumstances at play that humanity and science has not yet been able to assimilate, discern, recognize, and use. I do. That's why you're here, learning the truth that you won't hear anywhere else. So let's look at the news. Tiger Woods injured in a car crash. And then you can click on the link if you want to know, what happened to this guy. But Tiger Woods was born into the sign of Capricorn. That's the goat. Okay. And the majority of people born in October or January, okay, they're prone to suffer depression, follow religious dogma, adhere to conspiracy, and you can be sure many will suffer legal or illegal addiction to drugs. That's a fact. That is something I have learned. And I am 71 years old. Well, in 3 days on Friday, I'll be 71. So I got a lot that I can share with you. Now, this doesn't mean that all Capricorn or Libras are the same, okay? And they're all pothead or drug addict or religious fanatic, because the location of the dragon will play a very, very important part for them to apply their will. So not a single Capricorn, not a single Libra is the same. All right, it's all written in the stars. Now, you got to remember that each and every sign of the zodiac are both positive and negative. It's like the sun. Sun is love and light. Okay, we need the sun to survive. But here in Arizona, in August, it burns everything. Leo, love, France, Italy rules love. Okay, you can burn the object of love by being too jealous and too possessive, and then there goes love, gets away. You haven't controlled the forces of the sun. Sometimes it turns us into ego. Leo, the sun, France, Italy, the art. Now, every one of these signs, as I said, can be positive or negative. And unless you face me in a personal consultation, you ain't gonna know nothing about all those stars and all the signs and how they can bless or curse your life, because you're not cosmic conscious, or you've been taught that touching Dr. Terry's work is sending you straight to hell. No, you're already on hell in your fears, ignorance, stupidity. Don't take anything personally. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the world. Okay? People are so insecure, so sensitive. And many of you suddenly carry an inferiority complex, insecurity complex. And they come harass me. Well, you're an egocentric. No, I'm not an egocentric. I'm extremely confident because I know what the hell I'm talking about. And I don't use my 5 logical, rational senses to delegate you or the world. I use the superconscious or the archetypal realm of supracosmic consciousness that a lot of earth signs are not allowed to delegate in this lifetime. The advanced Capricorn, I mean, you're talking about Rush Limbaugh. He built an empire on the radio. You're talking about Tiger Woods, build an empire, okay? But in reference to Tiger Woods, I can assure you that when the police did not proceed with any drug test because of the seriousness of his injury, it was an emergency, so forget about the drug test. Nah. Yeah, make me laugh, okay? The stars said, and they don't lie to me, that Tiger Woods was seriously impaired with both alcohol, legal or illegal drugs. He is a Capricorn, okay? The rules are the rules. That's why he was driving very fast. They didn't even use his brakes. Gave me a break. The stars don't lie. Now, because it is a big guy, you know, he has money and attorney and God knows what. And he had the big, big things to do. They're talking about billions and millions of dollars here. We cannot ruin his reputation. It's against the law. It brings too much money to all those Illuminati in charge of our lives that run the show. So we got to protect those guys who make money, those guys who have names and fame. We got to do anything to make sure they keep bringing us money. We cannot hurt their integrity. We cannot mess up their images. But the stars don't lie to Dr. Cherry. Now you got it. What else do we have? Bobby Brown, the son of singer Bobby Brown, was found dead in his Los Angeles home on Wednesday. Okay. He was the half-brother of Bobby Christina, who died in 2015. He was 28. She was a kid. And I tell you, when you're rich and famous, it's an unhealthy life. It's not normal. It's unhealthy. You're forced to go out. You're forced to participate in all this social interaction. Drugs are all over the place. The entire Hollywood is all about drugs, manipulation, sex, lies, money, ego, greed. Okay. And again, some idiot says, wow, you say that Leo have more chances to succeed than Capricorn. Capricorn is a winter sign, like me, born in February. There is no trees in the sign. The nature and the sun is very weak. That's why we have to struggle to climb the mountain. Nothing's been given to me or anybody else born those months, unless they're born with gold spoon like Trump and don't know nothing really about life and working hard. So the reptilians are in charge. So if you're young, if you're stupid, if you're not educated, if you don't have cosmic consciousness, it's just a matter of time before the reptilians own your body, your mind, and your soul. And you end up drowning in your hot tub, hanging yourself, killing somebody, or killing yourself. Sad reality. It's like Angelo Quinto, 30 years old. He died after the police, knee on his neck, pretty much like the other dudes. I can't remember his name, George, whatever. It will never end, ever, ever. Because the essence of what it means to be human, written in light, or God cosmic design, and Jesus' initial cosmic ministry involving the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 apostles, the 12 saints, the 12 Jubilee, all this has been cast aside, ridiculed, replaced by religion, and replaced by science. It will never, ever stop. This is why I'm telling you, my friend, my biggest wish is before I pass to have my school. If I see one of my school operational before I die, I know this world has a chance. But that is going now. Lucky if we have another 30 years to live on this planet. Sad. Well, maybe I win the lottery. Maybe I land on one of you guys who have a lot of money and decide to do something good for humanity. I know. Well, the Christians do it. They give all their fortune. They take their fortune away from their children so they can buy their place in paradise. different world with Dr. Cherry. All right, remember, we're out of this nasty, deadly Plutonic window. Now I'm expecting a shocking, unusual, explosive type of window and earthquakes above 6.0 within the next 3 or 4 days. And I will be there to remind you, because I'm going to put it SOS to the world, and I'm going to put the exact date and the quatrain and the keywords that speak volume. If you're curious, smart enough, advanced enough, vibrate at my cosmic speed to make a good use of my work. So I'm asking you again to take the time to read that newsletter. As I said many times, you may not be audible, which means learning by listening to me. You may be visual, which means you assimilate better any type of information when you take your time and you read it, because it's crystallized. You know, your memory may not be as fast or as speedy as me or those who can understand me. And it's not putting you down. It's just the way God computerized you. It's your stars, okay? The stars regulate your life. And of course, reptilians are cosmic conscious, so they know when you're at your weakest point and it knock you out. Don't let it happen. So read what the editorial is saying about their book, my book, okay? Read all sorts of information. If you haven't watched my videos yet on astrology or on UFOs, you have the links. Click in it and then give me your feedback. Of course, you're going to have young soul, jealous, insecure kids that say UFO don't exist, I'm a liar, God knows what. You're going to see a bunch of people say, I'm an astrologer, I know better than Dr. Cherry, this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about, whatever it is. They are kids, 30, 40 years old kids who have been practicing astrology for 10 years and they think they know everything. They have a lot to learn from a 71-year-old guy, okay, especially when he's gifted. So again, you can also, if you're not a believer that I predict earthquakes, pay attention to the date, okay? You can read again, or watch many of the radio shows when I give very specific date and earthquakes happen, okay? You can read the feedback of all those people. You can read the quatrain that I wrote well before Trump got in charge of the United States and led us with a disaster. I talk about all sorts of things in this newsletter, something for you to reevaluate and educate yourself. But I want to make sure you understand, okay? And I want to finish this way. And actually, you should have a prayer every night before you go to bed. You want to say to yourself, my future is nothing else than the reincarnation of my thoughts. Once you understand the depth, once you understand the depth of this sentence and realize that it's been already processed through the subconscious and the superconscious, you realize how important it is for you to speak positive, to think positive, to have faith in the future, to have faith in the blessing on the age of Aquarius, to realize we're not alone. We have our space brothers. And once we are ready and vibrate at their level, they'll become more physical. But for now, then you hear the good and the bad. And my video will teach you much more on my video on UFOs. All right, for the time being, I want to thank every one of you, again, like always, for listening to my videos. Be part of the solution, be part of the light, be part of the blessing of the future of the age of Aquarius. Share my work, sign up to this YouTube videos, read my newsletters, show your support, become a VIP, okay? Any way, shapes, or form. If you like my newsletter, well, just copy the link, okay? Say a few words and put it on your website, put it on your group, put it on your Facebook page, put it anywhere, everywhere, be part of the light, okay? And this is probably the best thing you will do for me, and most of all for you, because now you're building karma for the future. Good karma, I may add. All right, my good friends, I will take this opportunity one more time to thank all of you. God bless of you, and we shall see you again sometime. Make it a beautiful day.